Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Let's take a poem, Miracles, which is written by Walt Whitman. Miracles means, dear students, wonders. Miracles means believed to be done by God or supernatural forces. Miracles is one moizim. Walter Whitman, he was born on May 31, 1819 and died on March 26, 1892. He was an American poet, essayist, journalist, and humanist. Humanist means one who supports the principles of humanism. Whitman is among the first influential poets in the American canon, often called the father of free verse. Whitman is among the most influential. There were most influential poets in the American canon, and he was one among them. Most influential means the poets who have a great influence, and we can say they were most important poets, and he was also the most important poets in the American canon, means in the American law. Canon means law, and he is often called the free verse. Who is called? Whitman. Free verse means that in which there is no rhyme scheme. That means free verse. His work was very controversial in its time, particularly his poetry collection Leaves of Grass. His work was very controversial, means disputed in its time, especially his poetry collection Leaves of Grass. Whitman worked as a journalist. He worked as a journalist. Journalist means a person who writes for the magazines, for newspapers. He is called a journalist. He has also worked as a teacher. He has also worked as a government clerk. He has also worked as a volunteer nurse during the American Civil War, in addition to publishing his poetry. Go pani ye shairi publish karna alav karim ye kaam thi. So as a journalist te kaam karan, so as a teacher te kartim kaam, as a government clerk te kar kaam, te khas karit kartim be volunteer nurse during the American Civil War. Early in his career, he also produced a temperance novel, Franklin Evans, 1842. First, I am going to clear you what means temperance novel. Temperance novel means a novel and a literature which identifies and exposes the ills of alcohol and convince the drinkers to turn a life of prosperous and virtuous sobriety. That means temperance novel. And what was temperance novel? Franklin Evans, which he had written in the year 1842. Whitman's major work, Leaves of Grass, was first published in 1855 with his own money. So Karim publish isim Leaves of Grass. So collection of poetry is lichmus isim pat publish karkim sait panyo ponso sait. The work was an attempt at reaching out to the common person with an American epic. American epic means American legend. And the work was an attempt. You see, kam imkar yes kushish imsans ekis aam insanas tamat vatnas. Kith poet? With an American epic, with an American legend. He continued expanding and revising it. Imkari expand, imbado ye. Imkari revised it. Putamat itskalasi mood. In 1892, when he died. After a stroke towards the end of his life. What was the reason? What was the cause of the end of his life? That was a stroke. Imso stroke amat. Imso iti mood. So yus wajah imsun marnuk. He moved to Camden, is a name of place, New Jersey, where his death further declined. New Jersey is a hospital where he was admitted, but his condition further deteriorated there, declined. He died at the age of 72, and his funeral became a public spectacle. And what was his age when he died? At the age of 72. Them waqt umar dusat mood. And his funeral became a public spectacle means it becomes a public show. It becomes a public exhibition. What? His funeral. Funeral matlab go is पर दफनावाश कश That's his funeral. Funeral means burial. In this poem, Whitman presents us altogether a different point of view of miracles. He draws his miracles from everyday life. The people and city life are full of miracles. Nature itself is an emblem of miracles. The creation of activities of honeybees, animals, fishes, waves, rocks, the sun and the moon are miracles. And what was the attitude of the poet regarding the miracles? His attitude was quite different than the layman, than the people, we can say. Let's take the first stanza. Why, who makes much of a miracle? As to me, I know of nothing else but miracles. Whether I walk the streets of Manhattan or dart my sight over the roofs of houses towards the sky, or wade with the naked feet along the beach just in the edge of the water, or stand under the trees in the woods, or talk by the way with anyone I love, or sit at the table at dinner with the rest, or looks at the strangers opposite me riding in the car. Dear students, I am going to clear you. The poet's view, the poet's attitude, that was quite different than the people. We can say that is quite different than us. What is our attitude? And our attitude regarding the miracle is when something happen unexpectedly in our life. That we consider at that time it is a miracle. Yeli es wuchan kun sa kan gasan accident gasan shkans. Pat timnish bacha kansh mara kansh bacha zban, it is a miracle that I am alive. And sometimes you see that somebody has been saved from drowning, and he says that it is a miracle. But what is the poet's attitude? That is quite different. And the poet's attitude is that means there is everything which is around him, and everything has a miracle. Why, who makes much of a miracle? The poet wants to know the reason. Why? And who means he refers the people. They were greatly excited. They were greatly admired by such miracles that happened unexpectedly. Go is kuni jigasa. Dama kunya sa go ka moiz ya such miracle. That is our attitude. But what is the attitude of the poet? As to me, I know of nothing but miracles. But he sees miracles everywhere. He draws his miracles from everyday life. The people and city life are full of miracles. Whether I walk the streets of Manhattan. Poet wana ilase paka us im shaharkin. Manhattan means busiest place, crowded place of the city of New York. And the poet considers that it is a miracle for him when he was walking through the streets of Manhattan. Poet wana ilase paka us im shahar means it's the busiest places. Miracle. It is such a miracle. I dart my sight over the roofs of the houses towards the sky. When he looked quickly towards the multi-storied buildings of the city. Multi-storied buildings building. The poet says that it is also a miracle for him. These multi-story buildings. And these multi-storied buildings caught his sight within no time. That it is also a miracle for him. Or wade with naked feet along the beach just in the edge of the water. The poet says when he was walking with naked feet along the beach just in the edge of the water. This beach is one sandy area by the sea. And he was walking through the water with naked feet. Naked go emis usne kah cheeze lagayit khorn. Te yus paka at yusi at damnas kinaras suit ab us khasa tim munji usi paka. It is also a miracle when he was walking with naked feet along the beach, just in the edge of the water. That was such a miracle. There is nothing without miracle. Everything we can say in this world which is created by God, it has a miracle. Or stand under trees in the woods. When he was standing under the trees in the woods, in the forests, he also sees miracle while sitting under the trees in the woods. Or talk by day with anyone I love, or talk by the day with anyone he loves, with whom he has a love, and he was talking with him at that time. The poet says it is also a miracle for him to talk with such a person. Or sit at a table at dinner with the rest. When he sat at a table for a dinner with his family, and he also says that it is a miracle for him. Or look at strangers opposite me riding in the car. When he was looking at the strangers who were sitting opposite him, riding in the car means subway car. It is underground railway America's mas. That is one subway, that is called subway, and the railway carriage are called subway cars. And the poet says that it is also a miracle for him when he was looking at the strangers, means unknown persons, who were sitting just opposite him, riding in the subway car. Dear students, these are the man-made miracles. These are the miracles which are connected with the people and city life. Or watch honey bees busy around the hive on a summer forenoon, or animal feeding in the fields, or the wonderfulness of the sundown, or of stars shining so quiet and bright, or the exquisite delicate thin curve of the new moon is in spring. The poet says when he was watching the honeybees, they were busy around the hive. Hive means container. Container se wana tath yat mas tam trawan mach, honey. And the poet says that it is a miracle for him to watch the honeybees when they were busy around the container. Hive means container. Or animals feeding in the fields. Field means a large ground in which the animals are feeding. When he looks towards them, the poet says it is also a miracle for him. Poet vanai, we must say them char way ekes baitis modanas mans. It kana bangsas mans asan sh. Tam wuchan sh tui. Tam variya char way ch asan, guri ch asan, teer ch asan. Padil tu nazar trawan shu dizma. That kit them how they look, you see. Tum ch basan that you may like it. Kim hi. That baitis modanas mans. Tam matlab the sizes pe size of insects, size of flies. Chima tam nazir that baitis modanas mans. Ithai poet which ayat mans animals feeding in the fields. It is also a miracle for him. Or the wonderfulness of the sundown, of stars shining so quiet and bright. Wonderfulness of the sundown means, dear students, wonderfulness means causing wonder. And wonderfulness of sundown means, dear students, feeling the sun on our faces. It is something wonderful. And the stars shining so quiet and bright during the night. The poet says it is also a miracle. When he was feeling the sun on his face, when we feel the sun on our faces, it is also a miracle. And we look towards the stars, they were shining so quiet and bright. It is also a miracle. Or the exquisite delicate thin. Exquisite means beautiful. Delicate, fine thin curve of a new moon in spring. Spring means it is the name of the season. That the new moon, he looks in this season, and The poet says that it is also a miracle. The اتھ منٛز چھِ وَنان یُس یِم چھِ dear students یِم چھِ connected with the nature. The miracles which are connected with the nature. مطلب یِم قُدرتٕکۍ معجزٕ چھِ یِم ہُم چھِ یِم اَسہِ گۄڈٕنٮ۪تھ کٔرۍ مےٚ بیان تِم چھِ تِم that are connected with the people and the city life. Thank you.